Good morning, all you amazing people. I hope you are having a 5-star weekend. Rating 5 stars, would weekend again. I don't know why my intros are always so random. I sit here, the counter is counting down, and I think I've got to say hello somehow. I don't know. I don't know. So it's been a long time since I have done a shout out to an Aboriginal business or artist. So instead of doing the acknowledgement of traditional owners this time I'm going to do a shout out to Flash Black. Flash Black is Kerry Klim, an Aboriginal artist who has an online store with lots of really cool looking things. So this is a shout out to Kerry, and if you're interested in these sorts of things, please go and check out flashblack.com. Okay. Hello from Egypt, says Mohammed. Aha, welcome Egypt. Egypt is beaming in. G'day Gorilla, Tassie Bob. Tassie Bob, I don't think I've seen you for a couple of weeks. Illuminator, TNT, Mad Techie, Attack the Liberal, Michael. Who else do we have here? Oh, Dodgy is here, of course, and I saw Peter earlier. Tony's here. I probably missed a couple of people. I always do. I can never be complete with that sort of thing. So, Austin says, just making my smoothie, then we'll be watching intently. Can you make one for me? I think I need something. A disclaimer before I get into it too much. The last 3 nights I haven't slept very well, so and this morning I actually I've pretty much weaned myself off caffeine. I've rarely had coffee for the last few months, and this morning I made myself a proper actual caffeinated coffee and kind of needed it because I'm after 3-ish days of minimal interrupted sleep. I'm in that state where you kind of start feeling a bit strange, and my heart rate has been sort of elevated. It's been up over like 80 beats a minute, which is high for me. My resting rate is normally like in the 50s or low 60s. It's just, that sort of thing where your body starts to react to the lack of sleep. Chip said, just took my Ritalin, I'll be right in a minute or two. Okay, so we'll all pause for a minute and then Chip will be ready to go. Peter, yes, I am awake. Gorilla says sleep is a poor substitute for caffeine, or should that be the other way around? Yeah, I need more sleep. It's not actually lack of opportunity. It's just things going on that have not put me into that sort of mode. I get to when it's time to sleep and I just can't switch off my brain. Steve, proof of life, please. Yes. Here's the helmet. Do you need Steve holding today's newspaper? With the headlines of Victoria underwater or whatever they would be today. It's got twisted on the base. All right, Steve, stay. Okay. Yes, Scott says, sleep is for the weak, caffeine is life. Yeah, I used to have that I'll sleep when I'm dead attitude, and regularly do all-nighters and like work from early in the morning all through the day and just not go to bed at all. Sleep, like just work all night, continue working, work all through the day, do like 40, 50 hours straight. But there is just no way I can do that sort of thing. I die. Ethernet, says Chip. Okay, Chip is getting us back on topic. Okay, so for today, hopefully a big day of win and victory today. And now, last week we got Ethernet up and running, and during the week I pulled out my old prototype for this, which is just a Raspberry Pi 3. Where is it? It is, in fact, it's I'll stick it under the camera just here. No, not that one. that camera. So this is what I was running previously. It's a Raspberry Pi. I just got to cover that sticker because that sticker on the SD card has the password and everything on it. So it's a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, I believe, with a PoE hat on it. And at the moment it's not running PoE, it's just Ethernet coming in here, and I've got a 12 volt power plugged in. So this is now running, it's actually running as an access point. So this is like actually this is 2 prototypes ago. This is before the one that I did with a Rock Pi S. So I started this up in order to look at the software environment and grab the config files, and I've already copied the config files for host APD off so that we can have them ready to put onto the new machine. So if I slide this up out of the way and I slide this one across, this is upside down. This is the state of our current prototype, and now we have Ethernet, we have Wi-Fi. Let's do some configuration of host excuse me, of host APD. I should have grabbed myself a drink so that I'd have it sitting here ready to go before the stream started, but you know, brain fade, pre-stream, I just was not with it. Now I'm going to pull, what am I going to do? I'm going to pull Ethernet from the other prototype and plug it into this one. And so my goal for the stream today is to have it running as an access point, so that's one. Have bridge utils running so that it is acting as a network bridge, so that when devices connect to that access point, they will get their connectivity through it, and they'll be bridged onto the rest of the network, and then they can go out through the router and do all of the normal internet-y sort of things. And stretch goal, since Austin is here, which is really cool, is to maybe fix the PoE connections coming off the transformers from the RJ45 socket, which is going to mean cutting some tracks and doing some little bodge wires and things. So Austin has already figured out whatever it is that I screwed up on that, and so we will hopefully get to the point where we can cut some tracks and make sure PoE is working, because once I figured that out, I can apply those revisions to the PCB and order updated PCBs. And there might be other things. Oh, the other thing that I did is during the week, the green LEDs that were on the Ethernet status were way too bright. So they were shining through the enclosure. They had 470 ohm resistors on them. And so I thought, I'll just increase that a bit, and I put 1.5k resistors on them. They were barely any dimmer. I ended up putting 4.7k resistors on those LEDs, running off a 3.3 volt rail, so tiny amount of power going through them, and they're still quite bright. But it's down to the, Scott just said, easy way to cut tracks, massive current. That's right. Yeah, turn the track into a fuse. I am really going to be having trouble today, because when Chip, you need to send me some of your Ritalin. When I get thrown off onto tangent things, it's just going to screw my brain totally. I'm going to lose the ability to speak or to think. What am I doing? All right. So let's power it up. Getting back to here, I think what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to start up my bench, one of my lab supplies, and plug that in. I'm not going to steal the power cable that's going into the other Raspberry Pi. I'm just going to leave that running. So lab supply 1 is go gadget power supply. And what have I got it set for? 12 volts, 2 amps. That is mighty fine. Hit power and boom. We now have the AP starting up. And just for the fun of it, because it kind of, it was kind of cool. Let's go for mood lighting. Here we go. Mood lighting mode. So lab lights off. The rainbow is cycling, which means it's booted and it's got past the process of calling the script that starts Ethernet. So in theory, we should now have Ethernet up and running. It doesn't actually check for the result from starting Ethernet, it just moves on to the next thing in rc.local. And Agim, I'm not sure how to pronounce their name, if it's Agim. Have you thought about moving those 8 LEDs to a daughter board? You might organize them in a circle and bring them closer to the blue plastic on the cover. Yeah, that's an interesting idea about putting them on a daughter board. I hadn't actually thought of that. That could be done basically like the way I'm visualizing what you're describing here is very similar to the LED rings that Adafruit make. So they make them in different diameters. Basically just get an RGB LED ring that is the right size and mount it above everything else so that it is below the ring. So for reference, below this blue ring. So what we would need is a large ring of LEDs, and it could mount on a couple of headers or something so that it sits above everything else. That is a really nice way of doing it. I like that idea. But what you can see is that, it's a little bit hard to see, but if you look at the position of the Pi here and where the circle is, the blue circle, I think it would intersect down through these corners. So ideally I'd probably want to move the Pi down a bit and or go for a CM4. So some point in the future this Pi 0W will probably be replaced with a CM4, which sits down much flatter. It's a smaller sort of board. So the other thing is that this blue LED, in fact, where I hold it there, see how there are little sparkles just here? This is the little spigots for how the blue strip is mounted, and they're acting as light pipes, so they're passing through the light from the LED. From the other side, it's solid plastic all through here. There's nothing that makes the LEDs shine through that blue any more than they'll shine through the rest of the enclosure. So it probably doesn't even really matter. Like the diameter of the circle doesn't have to correlate to the blue. And yes, I know I'm chasing a squirrel here talking about these, but Agim's suggestion was interesting. It got me thinking about this. And I should say we are almost at the point of thinking about the hardware tweaks and things we want to do to this for the next revision of the circuit board. So yeah, I had thought about making this PCB more circular, bringing it up into this area and around here so that these LEDs weren't in a straight line, but they would follow the curve a little bit. But then there's the issue down here, and having them on a ring would solve that problem, having them all elevated above it, because it could sit above this part and go all the way around. Anyway, let's get back to... Oh, Austin says, do you have a diameter measurement? I certainly can. I don't, but I can. What of the blue ring? It's about 117 millimeters, give or take. Hang on, let's do it across here. Yeah, center to center. It's about 117 millimeters diameter on that blue ring. If it's the ring that you're trying to link things to. Yeah, Scott says probably take about an hour to design the LED board. Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't take very much. Although one optimization, it's a manufacturing cost optimization. I think I wouldn't make it as a ring. I would make it as maybe four quadrants, so that they could be attached to each other. Because the way PCB costing is done. Oh yes, no, Scott says putting the LEDs directly in line with the light pipes. Yeah, so the way PCB costing is done, it's by square centimeter or millimeter or whatever it is. It's based on area, essentially. The bigger the board is, the more it costs, regardless of anything else that's on it, pads or whatever. And doing a large ring like that would be a moderately expensive board, might cost a couple of bucks, whereas you could get much more packing. And the thing is that if it's a complete ring, they'd have to be panelized side by side, whereas if it was done as 4 quadrants or maybe thirds or something, they could be kind of nested, so you could get much more density on the panel, and it would cost a lot less to produce. Right. Now, oh, Sion's here. G'day. No, you're not late. What am I doing? Okay. Let's go back to. Is it that one? No, not that one. I'm just looking for terminals that I've got open. I don't think I've got any open from last week because my computer has been rebooted since then. In fact, and yes, I know you can't see what I'm doing right now. Never fear, I will fix that soon. All right, let's go here. Alrighty, so SSH pi at, what did I call the host name? It was iotap1.local. I think that was it. Yes, what a guess. Well, not so much a guess, but whatever thought process brought me to it in the first place is the same thought process that brought me to redoing it. So on here we have the RGB rainbow binary, which is what's doing the pretty funky spinny patterns. And if we have a look at etc rc.local, we can see that it's starting up Ethernet and then it's running the rainbow. And if we do if config, we now have multiple networks. In fact, what I'm going to do is take this IP address, I'm going to jump back out, and I'm going to SSH to pi at that IP address because I want to make sure that I'm coming in on the Ethernet interface. And I actually don't know what interface I was coming in on. I might have been SSHing in on the Wi-Fi interface, which is going to be no good because we are about to turn that into an access point. So, most of the stuff we've been doing is in the W5500 overlay. Oh, come on. In the W5500 overlay thing, including notes, but I also have another terminal just down here, and I'm going to bring this up into view in a second. Let's do a split thing. We'll go, that's my left terminal, and I'm going to zoom this one in as well, and make that my right terminal. And what I've got on the right here, this is on my local machine, and it's in the repo for this project. I've just added a directory called software. I haven't actually added this in Git and committed or anything yet, so a lot of this is not yet up on GitHub, but it will be soon. So in software, we've got hostapd.conf and hostapd.wpa.psk. Now, let's just have a quick look at this. And no, what I'm going to do is SCP those to the target device. Where pi at, let's just stick them on the machine and move. Over time what I need to do is get all of this organized. At the moment it's just files that I'm sticking in various places, but what I need is a directory that has the setup process in it all documented, and it has the reference files like the configs and things like the stuff for like these overlays. We need the startup script, the contents of most of these notes. We need the stuff to turn the I/O, like to drive the I/O pins. All of that in one nice little folder that has everything we need, so that other people can just follow along and copy this. Oh, Gorilla AU says if Ethernet fails, all LEDs go red. Yeah, and Scott said, sorry, it looks like I've been missing stuff in the chat, but absolutely, the LEDs should be showing something, like some status. At the moment, they're running that that binary, which was, so it's basically a hard-coded program, excuse me, that all it does is run the rainbow pattern around the LEDs. And it can't do anything else unless we modify it and recompile it. But what I need is to be able to send different patterns and colors and things to the LED so that I can then use it as a status indicator, which was the whole point of the thing in the first place. And okay, just backing up the chat a little bit, going back to the LED ring thing. So DIY in the ghetto says, hey John, just put a ring on it and call it a day. Yeah, if you want it, you should put a ring on it. Henrik says, so yeah, I've used AliExpress NeoPixel rings, 12 pixels, and so far no problems. Yeah, so hang on, I just got a cough. Right, so yes, so the simplest solution to this is, instead of designing a board, just find a NeoPixel ring. I still hate calling them NeoPixels because they're not NeoPixels. That is a very clever piece of branding that that Adafruit did to essentially co-opt something that was already out there in the market and then get everybody's mind share. They did a reverse, what is it? A reverse Hoover. Oh, there's an interesting thing there from Threevil, or Evil Virus. So the simple thing here is just to find something on AliExpress that's like an off-the-shelf NeoPixel ring and make some mounts for it and just use that, not bother designing our own. That's probably the cheapest way to go. Just buy a bunch of those in and then it's all sorted. Oh, Austin says a 45 pixel ring outer diameter is 120 millimeters. That's pretty much perfect. 45 pixels, that's a lot. Maybe that's overkill. Now, there is some important stuff back here in the chat, so I'm going to catch up on the chat and then we'll get back to doing the config. Now, where was it? There was a comment from Evil Virus, which it was, have you looked into OpenWisp to possibly manage a fleet of them? That is a really interesting point. So what you're touching on there is the way to manage multiple access points with a central configuration and pushing config out to them. Now, I haven't actually seen you in the chat before, so I don't know if you've been following any of the early development of this, but the whole point of this was that I was inspired by UniFi, because I run UniFi stuff both here in the lab and at home. I've got UniFi access points and gateways and Ethernet switches and all that sort of stuff. And that single management console, which allows you to do things like define SSIDs and networks and profiles and then have those policies pushed out to the devices on the network, that is exactly the goal of this. I want a central management system that is going to do it. But this is being done in the context of the OXRS project, which is the Open Extensible Rack System, for managing light switches and output devices and all sorts of things within a home automation system. So the general concept, which I talked about a long time ago, so people probably barely remember this, is that these access points that I'm working on are intended to be part of the OXRS ecosystem, so that when we get to the point where we have a dashboard for all of our home automation devices and OXRS devices, the access points will just be extra devices in that list. And you'll be able to do things like define SSIDs and then have that pushed out to all of the access points. And that becomes really important when you consider the whole point of this project is to have things like pre-shared keys for, personal pre-shared keys for individual IoT devices. So when you're managing your devices, you need, and you want to add a device to your network, you need to be able to add the profile for it and then have all the credentials for it pushed out to your access points automatically. We're going to get to that. Now, I thought that I would have this plugged in and running in the first few minutes of the stream, Yeah, so Peter said, suggestion, in your rc.local, don't start the LED script unless the Ethernet script succeeds, i.e. use a conditional such as and between the two calls. Yep, cool. That is a good idea. I actually want it to show more than just that. What I want to do is show stages of booting, so that, for example, once the device starts, like once it's got to the point where it can turn on the LEDs, it should turn them on in like a red, I don't know, whatever the color is, to show that it's booting, and then when Ethernet comes up, then it goes to a different color, and yeah, I want to see the progress. Alright, so DIY in the Ghetto said there is no fun buying something off the shelf. If needed, it needed to be designed and made. Can't learn much buying off the shelf stuff. Yeah, that's true. But in this case, it's just some LEDs on a ring. There's nothing much to learn from it. This is a matter of getting us to the end result, I think. So I agree in general, yes. And that's like the reason that I'm doing this project, is I want to learn about it and do cool things and understand what's going on, not just buy an access point off the shelf. Hang on, I just saw a comment from Peter. John missing my first decent suggestion in 5+ years. I'm going back, Peter, I'm scrolling back. Oh, no, I did already mention that, Peter. Your suggestion was not missed. Okay. I want to get on to actually running this. Oh, Michael suggested 1920 by 1080 pixels. Yeah, Peter says 4K pixels or GTFO. No, we are not Mark Merlin. Mark has been at a dance, like at some trance event over the last week or so. He's been posting all sorts of pictures of him with performers, with him covered in all his LEDs from head to foot. It's quite crazy. All right, now. Right, I'm going. Oh, Austin says, would be interesting to add a speaker for announcement system. Yeah, okay. So this is a squirrel I do not want to chase right now, but I do want to like highlight this. So Austin was said, would be interesting to add a speaker for an announcement system. A project that I wanted to do a long time ago and never got to it was microphone and speaker in each room of the house, probably ceiling mounted, for voice commands, similar to, you know, like she who shall not be named and that sort of thing. But that was before the rise of all of the voice assistants, so I never ended up pursuing it. But yes, feature creep is a real thing. Scott is correct. Let's get to making this AP an AP. Now, where was I? Okay, so in the left terminal, I am on the AP, and if I go back to here, we've got hostapd.conf. Let's have a look at what's going on in hostapd.conf. In a moment, we're going to actually install stuff and put these things in place. So what we've got is so hostapd is the daemon that runs the access point and allows devices to connect. It listens for incoming connections and does the authentication and all of that sort of thing. And we're telling it that we want the interface to be on WLAN 0, which is the one that is running, and we've got a bridge to BR0. So to make this work, we're going to need a bridge network device, which doesn't exist yet. We've got to set that up in just a moment. What this is doing is defining the SSID. So we've got Superhouse 4 as the SSID, which reminds me, yeah, okay, let's change this. I'm going to make this Superhouse 5. And the reason for that is that this is a copy of the config of my other access point, which was set up as Superhouse 4. So in a moment when we start doing some testing, we should see two access points, or two SSIDs. We should see Superhouse 4 which is running on the old Raspberry Pi 3 prototype, and we should see Superhouse 5, which is running on this one that we're playing with now. Hardware mode is G, so it's 802.11G or whatever. We've got the channel setting, blah, blah, blah. MAC address, ACL, and down here, authentication algorithms is set to 1. I don't know what these magic numbers mean, I can't remember. Ignore broadcast SID is turned off. And WPA version 2, so we're still running WPA 2. Now that is, I think, about the most recent that we could run and still be compatible with the broad range of cheapy IoT devices out there. So now we've got a passphrase. This was from my early testing. There was a random, like randomly generated passphrase. And then we've got, but we're not using that anymore. So you can just set the passphrase directly in here. In fact, this is the normal host APD config. What you normally do is you put your passphrase in here. So normally you would have, so you've got your SSID defined up here, and then you've got your passphrase defined, because we've got WPA as the authentication type. But instead, that is commented out. There is no WPA passphrase now defined in this config file. And what we've got instead is WPA PSK, so pre-shared key file, is this. This is where it's like a lookup table. It's going to use this external file for config instead of using the defined passphrase. The key management is set to WPA PSK, and pairwise, WPA and RSN pairwise are set to TKIP and CCMP. So what these 4 lines do is set up the config that we want to be defined in this external file. So let's have a look at that external file. No, I didn't change anything, did I? Oh yes, I did. I changed the hang on. How is that going back to there? Superhouse. Let's change that SSID. How did I take that 5 off there? Hang on. I'm not sure what I've screwed up here, so I'm just going to get... Yeah, I think that's okay. Alright, I don't think I messed anything else up. So, let's have a look in host APD, WPA, PSK. And this is the external file that is being referenced in that host APD config. So what we've got here is a catch-all, which is currently commented out, which is passphrase. So that what you could do is have a catch-all here. This is based on the MAC address of the connecting device. So what happens is that when a device connects to the access point, very, very early on in the process, as it's establishing like the lowest level network connection, the devices are aware of each other's MAC addresses. And that happens before all of the authentication side of things. It happens before the things like exchanging certificates and that sort of stuff. So even without being authenticated, the access point is aware of the MAC address of devices that try to connect to it, before any of that negotiation happens. So what it does is use this as a little lookup table, and then it applies the passphrase that's here. So we've got the catch-all passphrase here, which is all zeros, commented out at the moment, and then we've got this. This is the MAC address of my poker phone. So that's my mobile phone. And I've got a passphrase set of pphone pass. So at the moment we only have a single device defined. That should be the only thing that can connect to this network. So if we tried to connect to this network using this same password, it should fail because we don't have the same MAC address. Now, yes, this does open up some potential security issues at a very low level. Things like MAC address spoofing is a thing. So if you knew the MAC address of a device and you knew its passphrase, then you could masquerade as it and connect to the network. And finding the MAC address is not especially hard, but then you'd have to match up the passphrase to it. So anyway, It's still a step up in security from normal pre-shared keys where everybody has the same key. So those two things, let's put those into, actually, where do they go? Etc. host APD. In fact, I don't even know if host APD is installed. I don't think it is. Grep host I don't think it's running. Host AP, no. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back to my notes. Oop. Vim notes, because in here I have, I wonder if there's any syntax highlighting on Markdown. No, there isn't. That's sad. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, hang on. Where are we? Power LEDs. I've improved that. Okay. Change resistors to 4K7. And, oh no, change positive PoE. Spelling mistake, I can't stand that. Alright, so where are we? So I want to go and have a look for host APD. Here we go. So this is let's do these. We'll follow these steps. Oh, of course. Home. Please apt install and do all the things. Okay. Apt update. That may not even be necessary anymore because this was being done on Ambien. Or was this on... Oh no, that was on Ambien. Okay, that was when I was using the Radcha, or however you pronounce it, RockPi. I'm looking in the wrong section. Where is Ambien attempt? No, Ubuntu attempt. Somewhere there was one that was successful. Where's the notes? Raspberry Pi version, here we go. So this is what we want. I was confusing myself there. Alright. Update time. Okay, what's everybody talking about? What is going on in the chat? Oh, Michael still says I should be using VI instead of Vim. Or, oh no, maybe that was compared to Nano or whatever. Yeah, I prefer, yeah, correct. Scott says, on the other hand, you could edit files just using echo and pipes. That's true. A bit of said, yeah. Pipe it through and do some substitutions. With regex you can do anything. Michael says, I don't think we have time for radius and certificates today. True. We're not. Oh, Imogen has arrived. Hello. Yeah, Iron Scott says, yeah, throw in some sed and awk for real power. That's right. Yeah, with a combination of cat, pipes, sed and awk, you can do just about anything in a text file. Now, where are we? Outside. Oh no. Outside. Chip says, time for a random squirrel. And Austin said, no, outside the box. Editor wars. Simon asked, is there a problem with 3D package generator in the Eagle library? I don't know. Oh, look, this is done. Let's go back to doing the actual thing. Yeah. Austin says, well, Eagle is end of life and Autodesk has had cloud issues of late, Simon. Yeah, a couple of days ago I tried to launch Eagle. In fact, both Eagle and Fusion wouldn't even start because they were both trying to connect to Autodesk's servers and weren't getting anywhere. Oh look, part of my process is install Vim. So what else do we need to do? We need to put those files into etc. hostapd.conf. So let's do sudo mv hostapd into etc. hostapd there, and then sudo vim etc. default hostapd and daemon conf. Daemon conf. Do we have a daemon conf? No, we don't. Okay, so let's do the thing that it says. Right now I am cargo culting from my own notes from so long ago that I don't even remember how I got to this point. Alright, so what have we got? We've got the hostapd in place, we've got the authentication file in place. Right now we do not have a bridge because of the font size. That's going to wrap a bit. Let's make that nicer. So we don't have a bridge up, even though bridge utils are installed because it hasn't been started. So my next step is I'm just going to reboot. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, dude. To quote Ellie Williams. Does anybody get that reference? All right, somebody, this is the challenge. Who gets the reference to Ellie saying, bye-bye, dude? Yeah, let's see, oh, I think it's back up. I see flickering LEDs, so let's just SSH back into the Ethernet IP address if we can get back in. It'll be funny if I've screwed it up. Okay, so let's just make sure it has rebooted. Up 0 minutes, if config. Alright, so we do not have a bridge device. What else do I need to know? Dodgy says, I know a lot of movie quotes, but can't say I know that one. No, well, it's not a movie quote. It's a game. It's a quote from a cutscene in a game. My favorite game of all time. Not that I don't have very many favorite games. I'm not really a gamer, but yeah, that was an amazing game. Gamer quotes, yeah. Although it's possible, well, it could be considered very soon that it may become a movie quote, because in January, I think it's late January, like January 23, the first episode of the HBO series, yes, Sion's got it, the HBO series is coming out, and we may get that scene in the, that'd be funny. I hadn't even thought about that. That scene being in the TV show, given the innuendo and what she's actually looking at when she says that. Yes, Richard got it as well. What am I doing? Oh, that's right. I rebooted and it didn't work. So we do not have the bridge up. So what else did I need to do? Is there anything else below this? Oh, okay. System control, umask host APD. I think. Oh, okay. So host APD probably isn't even running. That's possibly what it is. PSAUX grep host AP. Yeah, I don't think it is. So let's do all of these things, and junk, and let's see if we get a service up and running. I'm just going to do that again. Oh, I have it. Clear if config. We do not have a bridge, and okay. Only with a single PSK. What's the next thing? Okay. Let's install this, the entropy thingy. What I'm doing right now is not actually that likely to solve the problem. I'm just following through the steps from previously. So restart host APD. Don't need that. because we haven't actually edited anything at this point. I think what I'm going to have to do is go back to this guide, which is what I started with in the first place, because I suspect that what I've missed here is steps for bringing up the network bridge. Or maybe things have changed in Raspbian and the way the networking works, because this was, well, maybe it's as simple as, no, not network, let's do init.d network, network restart, which may kick me off, I don't know. No, it hasn't. It hasn't. And then we'll restart sudo system control restart host APD. Once again, hasn't brought up the bridge interface. Although, I wonder if the bridge interface doesn't appear. What I'm curious to know now is whether this is even showing up as an access point. So, let's just do a test. It's possible that it is, and I haven't even been... Oh, it is! Check this out. Let's go to, where am I? Overhead camera. This one. So, where is it? Here. Okay. Look at this. I've got Superhouse 5. Oops. Superhouse 5 has appeared. That is the access point. And I'm going to click on that. This is the big moment. So I'm going to do show password. Now, what did I call it? It was pphone pass. I think that was the password that I set, wasn't it? But in any case, let's just do connect. So this could be it. If this works, I'll be very, very happy. So connecting to Superhouse 5, authenticating, cannot authenticate. Please check password and try again. Okay, I better check the password and try again. So back to here and cat, etc. Host APD, what was it? PS, no. WPA PSK. Pphone pass. Yeah, that was the one. I wonder if unchanged. Let's try. I'm just going to type it again to make sure. Pphone. I'm looking at in the config file. Pphone pass with a capital P and connect. Authenticating. Can it connect? Check password and try again. Okay, so authentication is failing. And now, we can't see. Yes, sorry. Now, got to have a clear head, which I do not have right now, and think about what's going on here. First thing is, where is the log for this? Where does host APD log? Let's just do, we'll have a look in syslog to start with, see if it does anything. Registering, carry required, I don't think that's useful. Where does it's, okay, hang on, I just saw something. Something go by. Mike said cat. There we go. Cat, etc. Network interfaces. Cat. Blah. Okay, let's try that. Let's do this. So this was Mike's suggestion. Oi. Network interfaces. Start.d. No. Yeah. Network interfaces. Yeah, okay. Cat, etc. Network interfaces.d. Is there anything in there? There is nothing in there. Wi-Fi MAC is wrong in password settings. That is quite possible. Yeah. Check to see if your phone MAC address is the same, Aaron suggested. All right, that is a good point. Let's see. use, oh, okay. You can't see this, but I've just gone into some of the options, and it says to use either a randomized Mac or device Mac. It's set to use device Mac. I am just going to go back to, where do I get this? I'll find the Mac. Where do I find the device Mac? Wi-Fi additional settings. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I've just gone in to find my device Mac. Oh, there's no point showing you that. Instead, let's just look in here, do vim, etc. Host APD, WPA, PSK, and it is F460E2E97DC6. Okay, that is correct. So my config is correct. You got to put an extra slash at the end. Take out the slash after interfaces.d. What was I doing? Interfaces.d. Take that out. No, let's see what's there. Etc. network interfaces.d. Yeah, there's nothing in there. That's all there is. Nothing else to see. All right. Create file. Yeah. What? Hang on. I'm going to just ask Google a question. Host APD log file location. Please tell me. Where is it? Varlog syslog. Setup script. Logging host APD output. Where are the host APD logs? Oh, Mike has got a whole bunch of suggestions here. Create file, etc. network interfaces.d, bridge, add auto BR0 interface, BRNet, etc. Right. Hit it with a hammer, says Peter. Okay. Let's hit this with a hammer and do this and do this. Is this meant to be on multiple lines? Oops. Auto, or can that all be on one line? I don't know. Yeah, that will not fix the host APD config. No, that's correct. That's right. Ooh. Cannot open. Oh, of course. Oh, get out of. I am in Vim quit hell. Hang on. Why can't I open that file for writing? I asked nicely. I said sudo. So need space between where was it? Between BR0 and interface. Yeah, BR0 interface. And shouldn't that be space between DHCP and bridge as well? Yep. Cannot open. Oh, I know why this is failing. It's because you see this? This is not actually that. There is a hidden character here that we can't see. So it's trying to write. Let's look, that looks like exactly the same thing, but I bet it's not. And now, if I do DHCP, bridge there, get rid of that special character, now hopefully I can write it. Yes, that worked. All right. Sudo etc. network interfaces. No, sudo etc. network. No, not network interfaces. Init network restart. Failed. Yeah, it's probably because of the formatting in here. Ah, new lines, yes. New lines, BR0, interface BR0, iNet DHCP. Is that where I need the new lines? I can't remember the syntax of this particular config file. Interface BR iNet 0. I think it needs it there. And bridge ports E0 WLAN, something like that. Need new lines at interface and bridge. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Restart the networking, still failed. I think I'm possibly chasing the wrong thing right here. What I need to be looking at is why, I'm getting this bridge working is important, obviously, but I think there's a more fundamental problem, which is why is the device not authenticating to the access point? Oh, Mike said no, yes, and then no. And you need new lines at interface and bridge. All right, while I'm here messing around with this, at interface and bridge, burp, it goes like that. Yep. Let's at least get this one out of the way so that it's not hanging over us. Okay. And now we have the bridge device. Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Okay. So I don't think that this would have changed. Okay, so we've restarted the network. Let's just restart host AP, sudo system control host APD restart. Verb. I can never remember which way around this goes. Restart. Okay, let's just do this again. I don't think that the bridge is actually the issue with the authentication, but it may be. It is possible. Weird things do happen sometimes. So let's go back into networking, Superhouse 5, authenticating, and could not connect. Yeah, I think it probably remembered my previous password, so I don't think this is going to make any difference. PPS, no, it was pphone pass, and it'll probably fail. That did something different that time. Don't know what it's doing. No, it failed. Okay. Yeah, I don't think the bridge is related to the network, but fixing it. Yeah. Oh, Mike said it may fix the host APD on your phone simply because it can now get an IP, but not sure. Yeah. Right. And Michael said sometimes won't connect if the interfaces aren't all tickety-boo. So Scott says it keeps telling you how to see the errors. I know, I've probably just been, yes, I've just been ignoring the errors. Yes, as Scott said, so it keeps saying, here is how to see it. All right, now that we've got that config in place, I'm just going to do this again. It's probably a good idea after having messed around with a few things. And then, so it's currently rebooting. You can see there are no flashing lights. You can actually still see the green LEDs coming through it though. So I think these need to be more than 4K7 resistors on those LEDs. Still too bright. Which, it doesn't, this is a dark room and it is only glowing a little bit, but I can imagine if this was on the ceiling in a bedroom or something and there were those flickering green lights, it would be kind of annoying. You'd want to be able to make it go totally dark. Oh, Richard with the super generous donated memberships. Thank you, Richard. Oh, Sion said, folks, I have to go. My PNP is broken. No, I need to start pulling it apart to find out how to fix or bypass the issues. See you in the next life. Hopefully it won't take you an entire life to fix it. Good luck, Sion. I hope you manage to figure it out. Now, interesting that we do not have... Oh, it did come up. That took a really, really long time to reboot. I wonder why that took so long. You know, when something like that happens, there's often some timeout going on. Let's just give it a moment to sort itself out. All right. So now the bridge interface has come up, and Ethernet is up, obviously, because we're connected on it. WLAN 0 is up. Loopback is up, of course, because it always is. And we had a on the bridge interface we had an IPv4 address previously. Hang on, cough time. And this time we do not. But anyway, let's just go back to, yeah, this is where we are. Let's just go back to here. Couldn't connect. Okay, I'm going to go into into Wi-Fi, try on Superhouse 5. I wasn't really paying attention earlier, so my memory says that we previously had an IPv4 address on the bridge interface, and now we don't. I don't know what was going on with that. So sitting here, we're saying obtaining IP address, obtaining. It's interestingly, it hasn't come up with that authentication error that we were getting before. Although it may. Things seem to be taking longer this time. It's trying again, obtaining IP address. It actually cycled through then. Instead of just coming up with the authentication error, it went back to obtaining IP address. So maybe it is getting past the authentication point and it's now trying to get the address through the bridge interface, which means it would be getting it from the DHCP server elsewhere on the network, not from the access point. And it's still sitting there saying obtaining IP address. Okay. This seems to be slightly different behavior at least. Yeah, see, it's looping again. It's just gone back to obtaining IP address. I'm just going to sit that there. And let's go back and have a look at what's going on, because it could be this bridge. Yeah, so Richard says now need DHCP working. Yes, but the point is that I wonder if I need to do something specific to bridge DHCP, because DHCP is being offered elsewhere on the network and the bridge interface should pass this through, and I shouldn't need to add specific routes or anything because the bridge takes care of that. Alright. Tony says, I noticed last week the W5500 took about a minute to get an IPv4 address. IPv6 was much faster. Wonder if the same is happening with BR0. And Mike says, so change needed for DHCP. Yeah, and Michael says, yes, DHCP not getting across the bridge. Need to remove the IP address request from ETH0. What does that mean? Yeah, Jordan says, I don't think anything is getting across the bridge. Exactly, yeah. So change the screen, Aaron says. Yes, we're not getting anything useful out of that. Now, the bridge should have IP address, not the Ethernet. Yeah, so this could be because of the legacy network configuration that would have been done. Where is this being done? This is coming up from DHCP. IP adder. Okay, does that help you, Mike? I really should have grabbed myself a drink beforehand. Do I have anything in the fridge? I don't think I do. I think my fridge is empty right now. I don't even have any dihydrogen monoxide in there. So, while everybody is sitting there reading my screen, let's see, what have we got here? Loopback, don't care, that's not really relevant. WLAN 0, broadcast, etc. BR0. Scott says, should you bring me a beer? Mike says IPA. IPA? Are you talking about Indian Pale Ale? Because I don't drink. That's not a good suggestion, unless it's isopropyl alcohol, which is very useful. What does IPA do? Is that a command? Oh, okay, I didn't know that. It's an alias for IP adder. Thanks, Mike. No, my obsession with short commands. Okay, so getting back to this point, Rowan says the bridge should have an IP address, not the Ethernet. Now, are we all just sitting here staring at this and scratching our heads? What we've got is this IP address assigned to ETH0, and we have a bridge here. So this is where I need to get back to. All right, my next step with solving this problem, the way I would go about this, which is not necessarily the best way, is to go back to this tutorial. BR control show. Okay, thanks, Mike. So what I'm going to do is BR control show. What I'm going to do is go back to the tutorial and Rowan says turn off DHCP client on Ethernet and turn it on BR0. So Ether did not get access to the bridge. Now, where is the DH client config? DHCP. Is it in network? Because DHCPD is the daemon, which I don't think is what we care about. Oh, let's have a look in that anyway. DHCPcd.conf. Got there eventually. So this is where it runs the DHCP daemon directly, but we don't want that, and it shouldn't be. Yeah, I don't think that's even doing anything. ETH0 isn't a member of the bridge. Yes. How do we make it that? Jordan, Andrew, Mike, Rowan, save me. How do I make ETH0 a member of the bridge? So we've got network interfaces.dbr's bridge. So we've got this config right here. Hang on, I'm going to bring that up further up the screen. We got this bridge 0. Look, it's got bridge ports ETH0, WLAN 0. So it's configured in the bridge, but it is not. So if we just have a look at BR0, what have we got? Nothing useful. I think you did when you set up. Oh, Mike says I think the space is wrong in the config. I think you did when you set up the bridge ETH0 and WLAN. So let's have a look in here. So I screwed up this in here, maybe. Bridge ports ETH0, is that right? I'm just going to, in case those spaces are not what they should be. Bridge ports ETH0, hang on, let's, bridge ports ETH0, Oh, hang on. I have opened, in a browser window, I've opened that other tutorial, and this is what it says to do. So that. So it's doing bridge ports ETH0 is only, it is not necessary to mention WLAN 0 here, as host APD will take care of adding the device to the bridge later. Okay, so maybe we get rid of WLAN 0 and just have ETH0 in there. So let's see if that improves things. Just to be clean about all of this, I'm going to reboot so that everything is starting from scratch. Outside the box, Chip says, I need a bridge port in my car. Yes, different types of bridge port. A nice big mill. In fact, you could use a bridge port to make a bridge port. That would be a a bit of Bridgeportception. Get the sender. What are they? Yeah, get the rotary engine side plates and chuck them in the Bridgeport and mill a Bridgeport out of the side. Yes, Michael says recursive Bridgeports. Is it back up? No, it's not. It is not back up. It is okay. So while I'm waiting for that to reboot, I'm just going to have a quick look more at this tutorial. Sorry, I'll bring it up on screen so you can see it, and I might even embigganize it a little, just a bit, so that if anybody else cares to see this, they can. In fact, what I'll do is stick this down in the chat. Oh, Jordan says ETH0 needs to be up before the bridge. Yes, that's true. So can we change it so that ETH0, so that the bridge is brought up by the script that brings up ETH0 rather than being brought up by system control or whatever is currently doing it? So anyway, that link that I just dropped in is the tutorial that I followed ages ago when I got the previous version of it running. So blah blah blah, got all of that. Associate clients, associate the test. Okay. Where are we? Oh, we're up and running again. So let's SSH back into this. Do we even have a network connection? Yes. If config, okay, we have a network backup. We've got the IP address associated with ETH0 and not with the bridge. So it doesn't look like anything much has changed. But just to do a quick test, let's try this. And yes, you can't see it. I'm going to bring it up into view in a moment. So Superhouse 5, obtaining IP address. I'm still curious to see the logs on host APD because I suspect that authentication is succeeding at this point. So we're getting there. We're just having trouble with the bridge. Obtaining IP address still says just sitting there. Let's see if it loops around. I'm staring at it, trying not to blink, because once it gets to the end of this timeout and it starts again, it just flickers very briefly. Yep, dropped out, and now it's going back, obtaining IP address. Okay, so we're still in the same place we were at before. It hasn't done anything. Yeah, Mike says, oh, Jordan says restart the bridge. Andrew says, yes, remove the auto BR0 and do if up BR0 in script when ETH0 is ready. Yeah, okay, cool. BRCTL show. Right, interfaces WLAN 0. Yes, but check the result of BC. Yes. Interface ETH0 INET manual. Yeah, okay, lots of good suggestions here. And so let's shows the auth is good, no problems. Okay, DIY in the ghetto says the blue check mark shows the auth is good, no problems. So we got past that point. In fact, without even changing anything else, let's try something. I will get back to host APD, WPA, PSK. Let's do this. I'm going to change the passphrase and add a 2 on the end. And then do I need to restart sudo system? I don't even know if this is necessary. Restart host APD. Oop. Just to make sure that it does reload the config. And now, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to force an authentication failure. So if we come into here, oh no, not that one. I want to connect to Superhouse 5. Now that the passphrase has changed on this, come on, Superhouse 5, authenticating. So this should not authenticate. Yeah, it's failed. And now if I go to, so if I just do, I'm going to do the same passphrase as before. It doesn't matter what I do. Let's just do random stuff. Connect, and we'll see what happens. It should say authentication failed in a second. At least I hope so. Yes, authentication failed. Okay, so now I'll do what I've just changed it to, pphone pass2 connect. And if we go into the networking status, it says obtaining IP address. Yeah, so what we've got is successful authentication. That's a really good sign. We're making progress. It's not working yet, but we're getting close. I think we're almost there. Now, okay, now back to the chat and suggestions and what people are saying about sequencing, bringing up these interfaces. Okay, so Mike said there is something controlling the ETH0 outside of the standard if up down scripts, trying to find out what that is. Yes, that is our script, because that in this is where we can control the sequence, because in etc rc.local it's calling this script, and that script is ours because we have to manually bring up the ETH0 interface. So if I do cat of that, Mike, what you can see is we have to set a couple of, we have to set an I/O pin for controlling the Ethernet chip, and then we're obtaining the MAC address, and then we are using the overlay to load the driver for that particular, for the WISNet chip on SPI1. So this is where it's being brought up. So rc.local is calling the script which is bringing up the Ethernet interface. Okay, so Jordan, okay, a couple of suggestions here. Andrew said BR control add if BR0 ETH0. Let's just try that. Let's, I'll probably have to sudo it, I guess. BR control add if BR0 ETH0. And now, what was that command from before? I'm having a mental break. I'm having a breakdown. Not that, this is not what I was looking for, but anyway. Okay, try using view instead of cat. Okay. Mike says, I suggest we set up that script to run via the network interfaces as a pre-up. Yeah, we could do that. BRCTL show. Thank you, Mike and Jordan, for saving my brain. All right, so now we have those two interfaces on there. Could it be working? I don't know. Let's find out. Oh, hang on. It is. It's connected. I hadn't even been paying attention, but now that that's up, check this out. It says Superhouse 5 connected. Wow. I think I'm on the access point. So let's just see if Twitter is responding. See if I've actually got... It is. Like, that just did an update. Notifications. Aha! My phone is online, connected via this access point. We are routing packets, people. We are routing packets. Nice. Nice. Dodgy immediately says speed test. Right, so now, now we're in the state where a few commands have been run, some things have been changed. Can this be reproduced and can it be made to start up automatically? Michael says electrons are now moving in an organized fashion. We're bridging packets, yes. Everyone says speed test. Not yet, not yet, not yet. First, I want to, before moving on from this, we need to actually fix all of this and make it reproducible and make it so that when this reboots, it's going to work again. Now, Matt Tech, you said Twitter responding isn't a good test. Well, if it doesn't respond, yeah, is it me or is it Twitter? Mike says, do you have access if you lose network? Don't know what that means. All right, now, back up. I'm going to go to, Mike says, if we use the config interface eth0 inet manual and a pre-up on the next line which runs your script. Yeah, okay. Let's start looking at that. So, clear. Sudo vim, etc. Network interfaces. Is there anything in here? No, it's just trying to connect from there. So, yeah, so let's put in, oh yeah, let's do network interfaces.d and we'll add an eth0 here. So we'll do, what are we going to do? Interface eth0 and we're going to say inet manual. So this will stop it from coming up automatically. Now the big danger here, of course, is I could end up locking myself out. If I screw up the Ethernet interface and reboot the Pi, I could be in a situation where I can't get back in again. Not easily anyway. Now, where are we? All right. And a pre-up on the next line which runs your script. All right, so a pre-up, what is the format for a pre-up? Yeah, Agim says you can always access it via SD card. Mike says, do you have access via another method? But it should go in the same line, no? Agim says, serial console. Yeah, should it? I thought it was on a separate line like this, interface eth0, inet manual. Does this support PoE? Yes, it does. 802.3 AF PoE and also DIY PoE if you just want to send 12 volts or something down the wire. All supported. The hardware is there. So, should go on the same line. Okay. I thought that was a separate line. Yeah, Mike said the same line. Alright. Now, I don't think I've ever done a pre-up. So, or pre-up? Pre-up. What's the syntax for a pre-up? Linux network interface pre-up script. How do I make a script? Run automatically. Pre-up. Okay. I heard prenup and tuned in, Bruce said. Okay. So, up command. Okay, so it's up, interface. Okay, that's simple enough. All right, it shouldn't be pre-up, it should be just up. All right, hopefully I'll get the syntax correct. So up, and then it should be in, I need to put it in a proper place, but it's currently in home Pi, W5500. I'm actually going to have to check this because I can't remember the pass, but it's something like Ethernet. I can't remember the path. Ethernet start.sh. Now let's have a look in Home Pi. W5500 overlay. Start Ethernet. I really got that wrong. So it's W5500 overlay. Start Ethernet. W5500 overlay. Start Ethernet. 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 Eth will. Start Ethernet. I type goods. Up Home Pi W5500 overlay. Start Ethernet. Does anyone see any problems with this so far? Interface ETH0 iNet manual. Start Ethernet. Okay. Now, but the other thing is that we also need to bring up the bridge before, or can we do it afterwards? What we could do is, oh, Mike says, can I see your script again? Yes. Cat home. Yeah, so that thing that we did earlier with adding the interface to the bridge, that could be done in this startup script, I suppose. Maybe? That's, in fact, do we need, I'm just thinking about this. We could leave it in rc.local. Maybe we don't need, all right. Maybe I'm way off base here, but let's, I'm going to comment this out. I'm just going to do this for now. I'm going to take the paranoid approach because I do not want to reboot this and lock myself out. I could recover it. I can plug in an HDMI cable and the keyboard and stuff and get on a console, but let's not. Instead, let us just vim Home Pi W5500 overlay start Ethernet, and then down the bottom here do the BR, I think it was sudo, wasn't it? CRB bridge control add if ETH0, was it something like that? Sudo BR, well, where's my history gone? Oh, maybe it's because I rebooted. Oh, there we go. That's what we want. Sudo bridge control add interface bridge 0 ETH0. So let's do that. Not that. I want. I've lost the history. No, I haven't. There I have. There it is. Okay. Let's just stick this in there. Sudo bridge control add interface bridge 0 ETH0. So if we do that after it's loaded the driver, hopefully we will be hunky-dory. BR0 first, yes. Brandon suggested interface ETH0 iNet manual up if config interface blah 000 up user in etc. user local bin my config script. Okay, so that might be. Oh, Jordan said Mike is right. Does need to be pre-up. And okay, let's just go with this for now. So before I do this, quick review. I just want to make sure I haven't broken anything. So I did not end up doing anything in the ETH0 config. Or what we've got now is start Ethernet, adding the ETH0 device to bridge 0 once it runs. So let's just reboot. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. So the spinny winny LEDs have gone away. It is just sitting there. Internet is about to die. Quite possibly. And maybe just for me, maybe for everybody. And maybe for Steve. Living on the edge. Okay. We want some spinny winny LEDs. Yeah, Dodgy says, throw caution to the wind. Now, I do need to go back and remember what things I've actually done, because we've changed. The most recent thing was just adding the bridge thing. I need to add some I need to add some things to my notes or I'm not going to be able to reproduce this. Interesting that it takes so long. I wonder, it was a couple of reboots ago that it started taking a really long time to start up, and I wonder if it is, oh there we go, it's up now. And I wonder if there is something to do with one of those daemons starting that is like taking a while to time out or obtain a connection or something. Now this could be a sad state of affairs. Can I SSH into it? Maybe I can't. I broke it. Yeah. Let's just try host APD, looking for the network being correct. What about when we added host APD? Yeah. So pi at. The other thing is that it may have come up with a different IP potentially if it was attached to the bridge or something. I don't know. So let's do IoT AP1.local just in case it resolves differently now. Probably not, but oh, we can't see it. Of course you can't. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that. All right. I think that the time has come. Well, interestingly, I wonder if I can connect. I'm just going to try this. I wonder if the, yeah, I wonder if the Wi-Fi interface has come up. Probably it won't be able to get an IP address because it looks like the ETH0 is not running, so the bridge will be not working, but let's just see if at least we get to the point of, yeah, well it says Superhouse 5 connected and it's not complaining about anything. It's not even saying that it doesn't have an internet connection. So let's do the silly Twitter test again. Come on, Twitter update. Updating. Hey, what? It worked. How? What? All right, I am currently connected to the access point. This is connected to Superhouse 5, and it has internet. Like, I am connecting out through it. But what we are not getting is an incoming connection. We can't connect in on the Ethernet side. Yeah, Michael says, I reckon the AP has a new IP. Yeah, that's why I thought about going to using the host name instead. Although it may well have cached it. Oh yes it did. Yeah, that was all it was. Michael, you are absolutely right. So my local machine had probably cached the result on the lookup of IoT AP1 because even though it is it's using multicast DNS or whatever the thing is, there's still some local caching involved. Well, this is good news. It is actually working. Mike's IPA. Okay, IPA. It is actually working, but it's working. Yeah, IPA. Let's prove it. Yes, in Wi-Fi you can see the Wi-Fi info. Yeah, we should be able to do things like see clients and stuff as well. So let's host APD show clients. I can't remember how to do this. List of associated clients. I've done this in the past. Station dump. Right. Host APD. Oh, here we go. Let's just clear this, and I'm going to do host APD CLI all star. Ah, okay. I wonder if that's, nope, that's not working. All star, no. The result is nearly the same. What am I screwing up there? Or maybe it just doesn't work on this version of host APD. Aaron says, let's transfer the stream through it. Right. Yeah, Mike says you're still getting the IP on ETH0. So if config ETH0 has this IP associated with it, and if I do if config BR0, it has no IP address associated with it. Henrik says, can you do the speed test, please? All right. Speed test. How can no, we'll get to speed test. I know everybody is hot for the speed test, but how to do that? I could connect a laptop and then run iPerf. But yeah, let's get these more fundamental things sorted out first. Oh, Peter says 23 minutes until lunchtime. DIY says on your phone in your Wi-Fi area setting you can see the Wi-Fi info. Agim says, but shouldn't the bridge have its own subnet? I don't think so, because isn't a bridge just a way of taking two networks and like smushing them together so that it treats it as if it's a seamless link? It's Aaron says, be careful, most speed tests will reveal your IP address. Well, the other thing is that if I do a speed test using some external service like speedtest.net or whatever, what that's going to be doing is testing my ISP connection speed, which is not faster than 100 megabits a second. It's only about 50 megabits a second. So I think I'm on because I downgraded the NBN plan here at the lab to save on cost, and I did have a 100 megabit connection and I reduced it to a 50 megabit connection. So the thing is that we'd be saturating the internet connection anyway. To do a speed test on the access point, I would need to use something like iPerf and pass data locally. So from something like a laptop connected to the access point, connecting to another machine on the internal network here, so that we're not being limited by my internet connection. Yeah, Richard said, speed test on an isolated LAN. With stream traffic, local LAN and internet will have too much traffic to reveal useful numbers. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Trady Trev, with bridges the devices share the same MAC address. Mike says not using the network interfaces, which is a normal way. So after looking, it seems like DHCP on Raspbian OS does the DHCP client requests, not using the network interfaces, which is a normal way. Okay. Oh, Tassie Bob said burgers. Oh, I could really do with a burger today. I've been eating pretty clean recently. A few flirtations with carbs, but not too many. Lots of protein and greens and things. Trying to improve my my physical performance. Sometimes I give in and like last night I had some chips and I had some pasta during the week. Alright, so Tassie Bob says, fly to Hobart and I'll buy you a burger. Tassie Bob, you're on. I'm going to come and visit you and Peter and all the other Hobartites or Tassieites. Got to come and see you all sometime soon. Okay, recollecting my thoughts. Where are we with this? I want to make this reproducible. So at the moment, all of these things that we've been doing are directly on the machine. If this SD card goes away, then this work has been lost. So let's come back over to here. I need to clean up my notes here a little bit as well. Yes, quit out of that. and I need to, I'll clean up the notes off stream. I won't do that now. But what I need to do is SCP, I'm going to grab, no, it's somewhere that I won't be able to get to it. So SCP that, no, this doesn't change, that's okay. What I want is in the what is, brain all over the place. It's in resources. CD W5500 overlay. Vim start Ethernet. I just want to make sure that I capture this off the Pi before these things are lost. So I want to take that, and yes, I know I could be copying the file from one to the other, but hey, this is just what's happening. It's what's happening. Just accept it, okay? Now, so we're now adding the device to the bridge. What else did we change? We did etc. network interfaces.d bridge. So we've got this. Okay. Now, this config is getting really messy. So let's do, what else is here? Okay, Vim bridge. Let's stick this in here. And notes. Okay, a lot of that is not relevant anymore. Now, is that everything we need to make this reproducible? Scott says async, just saying. Yeah. The thing is though that on the target device, so on the access point, we now have things scattered through the system. Like we have the bridge config in there, we've got stuff in etc. host apd, we've got a couple of files in there, we've got stuff in the home directory. Where am I now? I'm just in the home directory. So we've got RGB rainbow in here, we've got stuff inside the overlay directory. Yeah, there are bits and pieces all over the place. So what I need to do is pull all of this into one concise location with all of the files that are needed. So over here we already have some of that happening, and then I need to update the notes with the specific steps of things like installing the bridge utils that we did. So all the steps that we followed today to get to this point, so that this is totally reproducible. Scott says scripted async. Yes. Yes, async is a beautiful thing, cable tie. And Mike says you could make these configs via scripts. Yes. Do not use the interfaces files, Mike says. Do we need do we not need them at all anymore? Should we just move that into the start Ethernet script? Maybe. Maybe. And Michael Wise says, I'd be doing it all as a script. Yeah. Yeah. Build an apt package of the changes from stock Raspbian. Scott says, yep. These sorts of suggestions are where all of this needs to go. Having sort of fudged and debugged our way through this process of figuring out what needs to go where, the next thing is to make this simple to reproduce. And that could be a setup script, or I could make a deb package for it. It is so many years since I've done any Debian packaging. I think initially I'm just going to make a script. So what I'll end up with is a directory with all of the necessary files in it and a setup script. And when you run the setup script, it'll move the files into the correct locations and change whatever needs to be changed. Cable Tie says, is there a reason we're not using systemd network config? No, Aaron said, I love how this is referred to as the access point now as it's working and not the Pi 02. It's official. We have a minimum viable product prototype. Yes, we do. Introducing the MVP IoT access point. Yeah. The goal has been achieved. We got to the end. By the end of the live stream, we have a working access point. So many more things to go into this now. Yes. Right. So, hang on, cough time. Okay. Take a breath. I think whatever happens now, I can end the live stream happy because we do have a working access point, and I can even reboot it and it comes back up and everything works. So earlier someone said connect a second device. Let's do that. Which means I need a second device. My laptop. My laptop will do, I think. Let's try connecting this one. Started a new sticker collection on the new laptop. Now, one thing that I do want to do is figure out how to... Peter says, has he done the SD card backup yet? No. But I don't feel too bad about that because the process we've gone through over the last live stream and this live stream, I feel pretty confident because last live stream, fairly late in the live stream, we started with a brand new Raspbian installation. Just took a card, nuked it, installed Raspbian, and worked up the config from that. And the process that we've gone through from there it's taken a couple of hours just because I haven't known what I'm doing, been screwing around, but it is quite reproducible. So if this machine died right now, like if this SD card died right at this moment, I'm pretty confident that we could reproduce it very quickly. Probably in like half an hour, we'd have a working access point again. So what am I looking for? That's right. Now, one thing I do want to do is figure out how to see all the connected clients. How do we do that in host APD? Try host APD, because this is the thing that failed earlier from the tutorial. It said host APD CLI. Actually, let's just try this. Help. Way too many options. What am I looking for? list all stations, all CA, get mib variables for all stations. Let's just try list CA. List CA. WPA control open no such file or directory. So there is something else going on here. Proper man host APD CLI underscore not dash. Really? Did I? Oh no, it still has that problem. Yeah, I think this is a more fundamental thing. Failed to connect to host APD. It wasn't just that I got the syntax wrong. It was that this is failing to connect to the daemon, and I don't know why. Shift key fail. Yeah. So why is... Sorry, I'm just checking on chat here. I saw something. DIY in the ghetto says, Johnny, you're going to upload to GitHub. Yeah, absolutely. A fair bit of this is already on GitHub, and I'm going to clean up what we've done today and do what I was just describing about putting all of the necessary files in one directory with some notes and then I will push to GitHub. Okay, now where was I? Okay, WPA control open has not connected. What's going on here? Just ARP minus A? Oh, that's an interesting idea. Look at the ARP table, see what we can find. Why is this taking a while? Oh, there we go. It's just at incomplete on ETH0. Yeah, incomplete. No, 202. I don't know what 202 is. I guess that is probably my, let's have I'm just looking at my phone here because I want to see what the, what IP address I've been assigned to see if it is 202. No, it's 127. Okay. It's not that. It's trying to resolve DNS, yeah. But even so, it hasn't shown my phone. So my phone is currently connected as .127. So, yeah, in the past I have definitely been able to get a list out of host APD that just shows me all of the connected clients. And I want to get this working before trying to connect my laptop because I want to do up minus A minus N. Minus N I think just stops the, where is it there? Yeah, stops the DNS lookup. See machines connected. Yeah, I'm still a bit bemused about this. There is some. I'm gonna do the standard thing of just Google for the error message. Host APD fails to connect. What is going on? So host APD is running in the background. I can connect. Oh, okay. Add control interface group equals 0. Let's see. Let's so what I just did was search for that error message, the classic thing, and the suggestion is add control interface group equals 0 in hostapd.conf. Okay, let's do that. Sudo vim etc hostapd.conf. Where should we put it? I don't know. Probably doesn't matter. It feels like it should be somewhere specific. Control interface group is 0. That doesn't it's not in there anywhere else, is it? That seems like a very random thing. So let's do sudo system ctl restart host apd. Ba-da-ba-ding. And now let's try this again. No, so maybe that wasn't the solution. Oh, Jordan pointed out the iPhone has not communicated to the AP, just through it, but it should, yeah, that's true, because the ARP table on the access point won't be populated. I'm trying to think about that. How does the kernel's internal routing work? Because if it's running a bridged interface, does it care about... I would have thought that it would end up populating the ARP table. Yeah. Aaron, yes, I am losing my mind. Agim said IPR. Oh yeah, to show routes, IPR. Yeah. Bridge has to have the MAC for it to work out where everything is located. Ah, yes, that's right. So it should be in the ARP table. Anyway, I still don't get why this is not working. So I thought that maybe in host APD and it will start working. Well, not so much. It didn't work. Let's just go back to, oh, it's solved. Hopefully this will, here is the blah, here is the blah. Daemon isn't running. Status host APD. Let's just try that. I'm sure the daemon has to be running because we're, yeah, it's running. Because we're connecting to the access point. Yes, it is running, all are connected. Could be a problem with Wi-Fi driver, etc. No. Stat var run host APD. Yes, I'm running host APD CLI. Here is the stat. That looks sane. Right, where's the solution? Can you talk to the daemon? No, last update. Oh, I did downgrade host APD to 291 and now it's working. Although this is an old bug, this is from 2019. Last update to the host APD package added the private temp directory to the service file. That could, after that update everything is working. Alright. Host AP, what version of host AP are we running? Is it reporting the version in here anywhere? Can't see it unless it's scrolled off the off the page. Anyway, right. Scott said maybe it didn't start working because there's been no new connections since you added that. It's possible. But surely you'd still be able, even if there were no clients, if you did a host APD CLI list stay and it fails to connect, hang on. Surely it's not that. List stay. No, it wasn't suited. Yeah, it should still connect to the daemon and just say that there are no clients connected if the phone hadn't connected. Disconnect and reconnect the phone. All right. Yeah, I really don't think this is the problem though, because I'm just going to go back to here. Okay, I am currently on Superhouse. Oh, for some reason it jumped back to the original Superhouse network, probably because the thing got rebooted. So I've now just switched to Superhouse 5, so it's now connected to our AP again. Yeah, because regardless of the status of any clients, connecting to this, let's host APD CLI help. Path interface name. Maybe we need to specify something here in terms of what we are connecting to. The path to find the control sockets. So yeah, var run host APD. It's probably here. Let's have a look at var run host apd.pid. So what was that syntax? It is minus p var run host apd.pid. Let's do minus p var run host apd.pid, and then do station all. No, still didn't like it. Okay. Johnny is and Peter are calling it. Stream is over. Chip says keep going, more squirrels. David T, okay, I think you need to set up the control interface pipe. And Michael says, if host APD is listening on a TCP port, you might need to tell it an IP address and port. I just got an SMS from Peter saying lunchtime. Johnny said, so yeah, there have been some very generous donations of channel memberships. So thank you for the people that have done that. And Johnny said, important message to the green crowd, please continue subscribing when my gift subscription runs out. Yes, thank you. Tassie Bob, Peter is on the burger trail. So am I. Oh, maybe Sunday can be considered a cheat day and I'll have a burger. Right. Yeah. And Aaron said, if you do anything else today, can you set up a GitHub repo for this that will allow people to start contributing code, ideas, and discussions around the project? Yes, there already is a GitHub repo for this. It just isn't updated with the very latest stuff that's been done now. So it is, in fact, that is probably a good thing to stick into, not GitHub, it's GitHub. GitHub. It is a, sorry, I'm in a different window, IOTAP. Is that the URL? Yeah, I'm going to drop this into the, there. That is the GitHub repo for this project. And as Peter said, I should push the working stuff to the public Git. I definitely will. I will do that today. First, I'm going to go and I'm going to need to feed myself, but I will push today. So, Johnny said, I do like how John's beard is getting more and more the color of my beard every stream. Yeah, I cut about half of it off yesterday. It was getting quite out of control, and I very savagely took the clippers to it and left about half of it in the sink. So Mike said, what is the setting in host APD for control interface? Aha. All right, view, etc. Host apd.conf. Oh, excuse me. Where's control interface? Control interface group 0. This is the thing that I just added, like recently. And then I restarted the daemon. I haven't actually rebooted since then. I just restarted the daemon. Michael says Peter is freaking out now. Okay. I restarted it using system control, but let's just do this. Now, since I modified the config file, maybe it's as simple as this. But the other is control interface equals, Mike says. Okay, so try add control interface equals var run host apd. Okay, I will do that now that I've rebooted, and I've got to wait for it to come back up. Henrik says, what the display would show if you connect the HDMI cable. Would it help? No. All that would show is it would actually show a Raspbian desktop, because this is running a full desktop installation of Raspbian. I didn't select the custom thing to do a minimal installation. I just installed like the default Raspbian 32-bit. Mike says it needs a Unix socket to open to do the control. Yeah, but that socket doesn't exist. I understand that's the problem. It's just, where is it trying to find the socket, and what's creating the socket in the first place? All right, so we now have the spinny rainbow again. Let's see if we can SSH in already. It might take a little while because the rainbow is up, but we may not be properly on the network yet. Let's just try it. All right. Right. Cable ties in. So there's a desktop manager running and all the bits are just falling onto the ground because there's no display to catch them. Yeah, they fall out of the HDMI socket. Depends on the angle that you have the Pi at. Come on, let me in, let me in. I want to SSH in. I wonder, would it have changed its IP address again? It shouldn't have. So I might have some DNS caching issues here. Richard's correct. Steve cleans them up after the stream. Yeah. Once I've gone through and documented all of this and got the setup script and everything sorted, I think what I will do is to validate that process and make sure it is reproducible, I'm going to start the installation all over again. I'll begin with a brand new clean installation of Raspbian, and I will copy that directory in with the stuff in it, run the setup script, and make sure everything works. And when I do that, I'll probably select the headless version of Raspbian, just so that it's a kind of minimal install. Why can't I SSH into this? Did I do something that has now broken it? That is very possible. It changed IP, yes. Buy some more SD card. Oh, Tony Smith said .244. Yeah, I wonder if it went back to its old IP address. SSH pi at 192.168.1.244. Because it changed to something else, like 132. I can't remember what it was a moment ago. I wonder if it's, if I come back up here, no. It's out of the 132? No, connection refused. Let's just go back to this, see if it's, yes, that's right, it's finally cleared. It's, what IP do we have? 244. Yeah, okay. That would have worked. I think it's just delays in the multicast DNS. Okay, so that's right. What were we doing? That's right. We were editing hostapd.conf because we need to add we need to add the location of the socket. So let's do this, and let's restart hostapd again, and then what was that command I was doing before? Hostapd list star. Whoa! No error this time. This is nice. Now my phone, because we rebooted, my phone has jumped over to the, I'm just going to see if I can do it without sudo. Failed to connect, permission denied. Okay, so we do have to sudo. Alright, so selected interface WLAN 0, showing no clients. My phone has jumped back over to the regular Wi-Fi, so I need to change to Superhouse 5. Alright, my phone is now connected. It says connected, no internet. That's not a good sign. Oh, no, and now it has internet. Okay, it just took a while to update. And now let's do the status again. Yes! So we can now see that we have that device connected. Alright, now this is Mikey Mouse. Mikey Mouse? Oh, sorry. Weird stuff going on in the chat. People are entertaining themselves because my brain is fried. Alright, now what I'm going to do is connect my laptop to it. So I'm going to do sudo vim etc hostapd hostapd wpa psk. So what I'm going to do here is add a second device, and I'm going to add my laptop, which you can't see, but I'm going to do it off here. I just want to see this one connect. Now, where's my MAC address? TCP/IP. Where's my MAC? Come on, show me the MAC. all the network interface stuff has just changed on hardware. MAC address. Here we go. Okay, so the MAC address is F02F4B, and this is going to be a test of whether I need to restart the daemon in order to bring a new device onto the network, or if I can just write it to the config file. I suspect that the daemon needs to be restarted, and for this I'm going to use MacBook Pass. That can be its password. Very super secure. Okay, so now we have the config edited to add that, and if I do that, I'm going to do watch clear and then blah. Okay, what's going on with that? Oh, there's some weird stuff happening. But that's all right. So now it is showing the clients that are connected, and on my laptop I'm going to go back to Wi-Fi. Note that I have not yet hang on, how do I change network on this? No networks. Okay, there we go. Superhouse 5 connect. Password. What did I make it? MacBook Pass. MacBook Pass and connect. So my MacBook is now attempting to connect to the network, and it failed. So that's what I suspected would happen, because I haven't actually restarted the daemon. So if I do sudo system control restart host APD, I was hoping this wouldn't be necessary, but maybe it is. So now let's see if I connect to Superhouse 5 from my laptop. MacBook Pass connect, and it's authenticated and connected. And look, we have a second device on the access point now. Oh, Aaron says lunchtime plus 13 minutes. Okay. Well, I now have both my laptop connected to the access point and my phone, and we're seeing their things in here. Now, beyond this, of course, we want to get things like network statistics. So we want to be able to see how much data is being passed by each client and more information about them. But all of that can come. Can it internet, Michael asked. Okay, good question. You're just going to have to take my word for this, because you can't actually see. But I'm going to go to speedtest.net. And Scott pointed out, and using a separate passphrase. Yes, that's right. So these two devices are now connected to the access point with different passphrases. I'm going to do a speed test and then maybe just like hold my laptop up to the camera or something and see what happens. Connecting. All right. Now this speed test is it's pretty pathetically low. Yes, iPerf. I know. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah, we're gonna. We are going to. I've got to wrap this live stream up. We've got to the point now where we have a functioning access point with individual pre-shared keys. Now that is a landmark. That is a really, really cool thing. So just before I hold this up to the screen, am I gonna? Yeah, it's got my IP address on there, but from my laptop, I'm getting like 5 megabits a second upload and download through this, which is not exactly setting a new speed record. Yes. Oh, Imogen says, everyone's talking about lunch. I haven't even had breakfast, lol. Well, then you should go and do that. Oh, right. Right. Okay. So, that is actually a pretty damn good place to end this stream. I'm gonna ignore that stuff for now. I'll talk to you. Focus on the camera for a minute and get my train of thought happening again. So we now have a working access point with host APD doing per device authentication based on matching the MAC address to the pre-shared key for that specific device. That's a win. So we can now say that we have an access point. So thank you so much to everybody that's helped with this. And as I've been fudging my way through it, everybody else has been putting me back on the path. And it's like I've been bouncing off the edges and then guided back onto what I should be doing. So yeah, I really appreciate it. This is very, very cool. Again said, I think you can just reload the host APD config. Yeah, okay, that'd be good. Instead of having to restart the daemon, just reload the config. That's something to investigate. I'll have to experiment with that. But for now, it is celebration time, lunchtime, and time for me to copy these files off again, make sure that I've got everything off that SD card on my local machine, put it in order, push it to GitHub. So, oh, that's right. I was just thinking there was something else I needed to mention today, which is that if anybody, given all the stuff that's going on with Twitter at the moment, I've been a lot more active on Mastodon recently. So if anybody does feel like connecting with me on Mastodon, I'm just going to chuck my user name in the chat. Mastodon.social. It is there. So yeah, if anybody wants to connect with me on Mastodon, my username is johnoxer at mastodon.social. So yeah, I'm still active on Twitter as well, but I'm using both now, and then we'll just see which way the wind blows. I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of entertaining watching all the crazy stuff happening on Twitter. It's both entertaining and sad. Anyway, so yeah, David T asked which Mastodon server. I'm using mastodon.social. I joined quite a few years ago when Mastodon.social was basically Mastodon. There were a few others, but there were very few users, and that was what everybody joined. But now, of course, with the growth, the chart is ridiculous. Like because the statistics of Mastodon users are published, the growth chart over the last 48 hours has just been ridiculous. It's gone like bang, and it's the classic hockey stick chart, which has been giving Mastodon server admins a bit of a headache because everything is running slow and overloading, and yeah, so Mastodon.social got really slow for a while over the last couple of days. It seems to be doing pretty well now. I think they've thrown more resources at it, and yeah, anyway. The Lane says, hi, sorry I'm late. Not by much, just as I'm saying goodbye. Oh, Johnny, okay, so Johnny is streaming after this stream, so if anybody wants to go and watch Johnny Bergdahl streaming, he's already dropped the link because Johnny is an admin on my channel. And so drop the link to twitch.tv Johnny_B. So go and check that out. But thank you very much to everybody. I will communicate updates on this on Discord. So I will do the GitHub update and communicate it on Discord and elsewhere, wherever. Anyway, have a fantastic weekend. As my voice finally gives up, go and build something awesome.